Hello everyone. My name is Ole Ramirez, and today I am going to talk about this topic, explain the cultural dimension in communication in high versus low context cultures. Okay, let's start with the first slide. Okay, let me explain about what is cultural dimension. Okay, this term was coined by the Dutch psychologist Hofstede in 1970. He classified cultural dimension into five models: the individualism versus collectivism, power distance, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, and long term versus short term. All those characteristics uh, are consequently of the belief of every culture, because as we know, every culture has their own beliefs, norms, rules, etc. Nesterenko in her book explained that to know about cultural dimension is absolutely necessary, because when a people meet with another people from another culture, and in order to avoid misunderstanding, it is necessary to know something of that culture. Okay, as we as we told you about the first cultural dimension, individualism culture versus collectivism culture, we have the first example to be clear this cultural dimension. For example, as you know that in the United States, people work hardly in order to reach their personal goal. On the other hand, we have in China, they work collectively to reach their goal. So, some characteristics that we have about each of these. Okay, individualism culture. Okay, they use explicit communication, a high level of encouragement, and idea and debate. They work independently. There is a tendency to believe in universal values. They are focused on personal goals. So, in the other hand, the collectivism culture, like many Asian cultures, we have this characteristic. They use indirect communication. It's important to keep the respect between members of the community. There is a tendency to believe that each group have different values. It is important to maintain the harmony in the group. It is important to avoid negative situation in public. Okay, in the second slide we have power distance. That is how governments gave the citizens the power. Okay, uh, as we told you, here it, I explain this situation with an example, with a clear example to keep this clear. Okay, in societies with high power distance, like Malaysia, the hierarchical structures is prevalent, and subordinates almost never question their authorities. Conversely, in Sweden, there is a preference for equality. Subordinates do decisions, do making decisions, so they can suggest something for the authority. Okay, here the characteristic of high power distance. people. Don't question decision leader. General asset inequality, the distribution of power. In the characteristic of low power distance, we have people question authority and expect to participate in decision. There is a decentralized organization. Hierarchical employees or subordinates are considered equal with the same rights. Okay. In this next slide, we have masculinity versus femininity. Okay. Uh, just to have clear with one example. Okay, in Germany is considered a masculine culture where competitiveness, achievement, and material success are high value. In contrast, we have in Norway that is seen as a feminine culture where quality of life, cooperation, and caring for others are more important. Okay, here are some characteristics of masculinity society. Big and fast people are beautiful. Big salaries, conflicts are resolved by forces, live in order to work. As you know, this expression that girls cry and boys don't, and boys fly and girls don't. Sorry, boys fight and girls don't. So that is like a kind of predominant of masculinity culture. So, in the other hand, we have femininity society. Here we have this characteristic: dominant values, people serving others, they work in order to live, small as and slow are beautiful, conflict is resolved through negotiation, both boy and girls cry and neither fight. Okay. And the next cultural dimension is uncertainty avoidance. And we have this explanation. It refers to a man's search of the truth. It indicated to what standard a cultural behavior shapes or program is meant to feel either comfortable and uncomfortable. Here is one example about what is uncertainty avoidance. We have that in Greece has a high uncertainty avoidance index, meaning that people prefer clear rules and structures. I think that they have structural rules in their politics. So, for the people of that countries, it is always important to to keep the rules, to maintain this kind of politics because they manage this way. On the other hand, we have Singapore has low uncertainty avoidance, where people are more comfortable with ambiguity and are more open to taking risks and try new things. Okay. Okay, we have some characteristics of these cultural dimensions. High uncertainty avoidance. There are a lot of rules and regulations in these countries. Also, people prefer that what they know already than taking risks. So they don't like to take risks. There is a weak interest in politics. The authority is accepted. In the other hand, we have societies with low uncertainty avoidance, where society doesn't mind ambiguous situation. There is a high interest in politics. Citizen protest is accepted. So, in the next slide, we have long-term versus short-term orientation. Here is an short explanation. Okay, that is how people focus their goals in a short on a long term. I mean, in the future. So We have here an example. China is an example of a long-term oriented culture where people value perseverance, fair, and long-term planning. In contrast, in the United States tend to have a short-term orientation, focusing more on immediate results, quick achievement. Here there are some characteristics. In the first one, I mean long-term orientation, there is a main focus on the future. Uh, you value persistence, perseverance, saving, and being able to adapt. People often wonder how to know what is true. For example, questions like what and how are asked more than why. In the other hand, short-term orientation focus their attention in the present or past. Consider them more important. Values and traditions related to the past and present are current social hierarchy. Care more about immediate reward. As we notice, all of these characteristics have the culture. For that reason, it's important to know something about the culture or the dimension like this psychologists explain. Okay, and what is important to know about this dimension? It is important because when we encounter with people with another culture, we need to show to them respect. And also it's a kind of responsibility to 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 know something about their culture. That I think that is really important to know something about the culture in order to misunderstand the message that another person want to transmit. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.